I always liked symmetry. Maybe that's why I picked our house. Perfect little two-story with black shutters, a wraparound porch, and just enough lawn to make neighbors jealous without hiring landscapers. The kind of house where people wave on their morning walks and the sprinklers come on like clockwork. The kind of house where secrets shouldn't live. And yet, you ever look at your wife from across a dinner table and feel like you're watching a stranger wear her skin? That was me. Tuesday night. Salmon over couscous. Candle in the middle like we were trying to save a marriage without admitting it. Her eyes never quite met mine anymore. Just bounced off them like light off a fogged mirror. You didn't salt this, she said, poking her food like it had personally insulted her. It tastes unfinished. Like our vows? I said it casually, like a joke that wasn't. She blinked. Didn't laugh. Didn't even flinch. Just reached for her wine. I stared at her hands, freshly manicured. French tips. She only did that when she was trying to impress someone. Spoiler, it wasn't me. That's the funny thing about betrayal. You don't always see it happen. Sometimes, you feel it first. Like a splinter under your nail. Invisible. Insistent. It starts whispering to you through the walls. Through her perfume that wasn't yours to smell anymore. Through her phone, flipped face down for months. Through the way she suddenly took more interest in cardio and less in conversation. And then came the kicker. The neighbor. His name was Drew. Lived 3 doors down. The kind of guy who grills shirtless and calls every woman milady, like he's the Duke of Home Depot. I'd seen the way he looked at her, like she was a dessert he couldn't wait to steal from someone else's plate. She told me I was paranoid. Which is exactly what someone says when they're cheating and just not done yet. Babe, please, she said once, phone still warm from a call she claimed was insurance stuff. He's just friendly. Yeah, so's food poisoning. Doesn't mean I want it in my house. The night I found out for sure wasn't dramatic. No lipstick on a collar. No screaming from behind a closet door. It was Drew's laugh that did it. I was outside at 11 p.m., just checking the motion light, because sometimes I still pretended this house was mine to protect. And that's when I heard it. Faint. Too close. Carried across the hedges like a ghost in cargo shorts. Her laugh followed next. Soft. Familiar. The kind of laugh she used to save for me. I stood in the dark, barefoot, feeling the lawn dew against my soles, listening to the sound of my wife loving someone else while my house watched and said nothing. And that was the night I made a decision. Not out of rage. Not even out of sadness. Just clarity. If she could turn our life into a lie, then I could turn the ending into a plot twist. The house she betrayed me in. The one with the wraparound porch and the silent walls? I was going to sell it. And take everything with me. Even the dog. You'd be amazed how much you can do once you stop pretending everything's fine. By Thursday, I'd already called the realtor. Thinking of listing, I told her, casually sipping coffee like I hadn't just made a silent pact to dismantle my entire marriage without a single tear. Oh, that's sudden, she said. Joint decision? Not yet, I replied. But I'm working on it. She didn't ask questions. Probably thought I was upgrading or downsizing or some other polite word for unraveling. I asked her how fast she could get it on the market. Couple weeks, she said. You'll want to clean up a little, stage it. No need. It's already a museum of fiction. She laughed. I didn't. While she worked on listing photos and valuation, I got to work too, quietly. Methodically. Every day before she came home from her new fitness class, which oddly enough required full makeup and 2 showers, I boxed up the pieces of my life. Not our life. Just mine. I took my grandfather's watch from the top drawer. The knife block my brother gave us for our wedding. The old camping gear I used once and she said clashed with her aesthetic. I even took the spare keys I'd hidden in a shoebox behind the water heater because revenge doesn't ask for permission. It just needs preparation. She didn't notice anything was missing. Because she didn't notice me. And when I needed to look her in the eye, I did it with the cold professionalism of a man signing divorce papers on an airplane tray table. Everything okay? She asked one night, fork swirling lazily through a pile of steamed vegetables she'd started eating since Drew inspired her to eat clean. Never better, I said. How's cardio? She smiled. Oh, sweaty. Yeah, I bet it is. She still hadn't noticed the framed photo missing from the living room shelf, the one from our honeymoon in Charleston, where she leaned on me like I was a future and not a placeholder. Gone. Packed. Filed under things you don't deserve anymore. But the best part? She still thought she was winning. See, that's the thing about cheaters. They assume they're 2 steps ahead, playing chess while you're struggling with checkers. But I wasn't playing checkers. I was loading the board into the back of my truck. And one night, right before everything flipped, She stood at the sink, humming some Drew-approved playlist while the wine bottle drained into her favorite glass. "You're quiet lately," she said, not looking up. "Just enjoying the silence," I replied. She turned, brows raised. "Since when do you like silence?" "Since I realized who I was sharing the noise with." She blinked, a flicker of suspicion quickly masked by that trained smile. The same smile she probably used on him when she said, "My husband's nice, just boring." Spoiler alert, sweetheart. The boring one's about to play his best hand. Every good magic trick starts with distraction. While she spent her days crafting Instagram captions about embracing growth, I was making appointments with lawyers, brokers, and one very efficient moving company called Swift Shift. They lived up to the name. You call him on Monday, your memories are in a truck by Wednesday. But before that, I took a little field trip. Title office. "Hi," I told the clerk. "I need to confirm whose name is on the deed to 428 Silverbrook Lane." She asked for ID, typed a few keys, and then gave me the kind of look people save for someone holding a winning lottery ticket and no idea. "Oh," she said, "it's just yours." I nodded. "Yeah, that's what I thought. See, we bought the house before we were married." I put down the full down payment. She was finishing grad school. She never got around to putting her name on it. Probably too busy curating throw pillows and a Pinterest board called Dream Kitchens. She had no legal claim. She had a closet full of yoga pants and a toothbrush, but no skin in the game. Which meant when the time came, I wouldn't need her signature to sell. I just needed a good excuse to have her not there when the moving truck showed up. And as luck, or karma, would have it, that Friday, she had a girls' weekend in the mountains. Translation: weekend with Drew at his cabin with a hot tub and a mini fridge full of sparkling water and betrayal. "Take your time," I said as she packed. "You deserve a break." She kissed my cheek. "You're being so understanding lately." "I know." She left at noon. By 12:45, the house was in motion. Two guys from Swift Shift rolled in like silent ninjas with dollies and rubber gloves. I pointed to what was mine. They didn't ask questions. I didn't explain. By dinner, every last item that had a trace of me on it was gone. She'd left a husband behind. I left her, a buyer's agent card, and a for sale sign on the lawn. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's cold. It was. But not as cold as the text I found on her iPad, left conveniently unlocked on the kitchen counter the week before. "Drew, he still doesn't know. Poor guy's probably out there mowing the lawn thinking it's his. It was mine. And now it wasn't. Because I sold it that following Monday, above asking. The best part? I didn't tell her. Not until she got back. She pulled into the driveway and slammed on the brakes. Her suitcase still in the trunk, phone in hand, furrow in her brow. She stormed inside, or more accurately, tried to. Front door? Locked. Furniture? Gone. Closets? Empty. She called me. 5 times. I let it ring. Then, finally, I answered. "Hey," I said, calm as meditation. "Good trip." "What the hell is going on?" she spat. "Where's everything?" "Gone," I replied. "Kind of like you. Just quicker." "You sold the house?" "Technically, I sold my house." There was silence. The kind that tastes like metal and missed chances. "You're insane." "No," I said. "I just woke up." There's a moment, right after a storm rolls out, where the air is so quiet, you can actually hear everything that just happened. That was her silence on the phone. It wasn't confusion. It was comprehension. She realized I didn't just leave. I evicted her emotionally and logistically without even raising my voice. "I'm calling a lawyer," she said, finally. "You should," I replied. "Maybe he can help you find your yoga mat." I think I left it behind the betrayal. She hung up. Of course she did. I parked 3 streets over and watched from the tinted windows of my truck. Not because I was second-guessing myself, please. I just wanted to see what a face looks like when a plan collapses in real time. Her jaw was clenched, her eyes wide, scanning the porch like it might explain itself. She walked to the mailbox, yanked it open. Inside? A plain white envelope. Her name, handwritten. Inside, a flash drive and a sticky note that read. For the record, it wasn't paranoia. See, it wasn't just about the house. I needed confirmation before I dropped the hammer. I'm a patient man, but I'm also a thorough one. And if she was going to cheat on me with the human equivalent of a Bluetooth speaker and Axe body spray, then I needed to make sure she remembered every last frequency of that decision. The flash drive? A collection. Screen recordings. Voicemails. A few accidental Ring camera clips. My favorite was the audio from the garage midday 2 weeks ago when she thought I was at work. Drew, you sure he's not going to come home early? Her, he won't. He still checks in with me before heading back. He's obedient. Obedient. That word chewed on me for days. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was a well-trained pet. Reliable. Predictable. Not anymore. 2 days later, I got a text from Drew. That's right. Drew. Hey man, can we talk? Just like that. Like we were gonna bro-hug it out over wings and pretend he hadn't been using my backyard for extracurricular activities. I stared at the message for a solid minute. Then I typed, sure, come by the house. I waited. 3 hours later, a truck pulled up, black, oversized, all the personality of a protein shake. I watched him walk up the drive. Confused. Tentative. He rang the bell. No answer. He rang again. Still nothing. That's when he noticed it. The lockbox on the door. The realty sign in the grass. And a bright orange sticky note taped to the glass. Sorry, we've moved on. Try next door. He actually did it. Knocked next door. You can't make this stuff up. The neighbor, Mrs. Arliss, a 70-year-old widow who's part sass, part surveillance drone, opened the door wearing an apron and a look that could wither steel. Can I help you? She said, voice dripping with judgment. I'm looking for Ashley. You're Drew, aren't you? Yeah. She smiled. And it was not a warm one. She left with a suitcase and a broken heart. You boys sure do make messes, don't you? He stammered something. I didn't hear the rest. I was laughing too hard. Later that night, Ashley called again. This time, I picked up on the first ring. Why are you doing this? She asked. Not angry. Not furious. Just defeated. I waited a beat before answering. Doing what, Ashley? Holding you accountable? Reclaiming my spine? Selling a house you never paid for while you shopped for affection down the block? I made a mistake, she whispered. No. A mistake is forgetting your anniversary. You build a whole second life under my roof. That's not a mistake. That's a project. She started to cry. Finally, I let the silence sit between us. Where am I supposed to go? You'll figure it out, I said. You always land on your back. I mean, feet. The line went dead. The house sold in 11 days. Full asking. Cash offer. Young couple with a dog and an annoying laugh. I handed over the keys without a second thought. But not before one final touch. I left something in the crawl space. A box. Labeled in bold Sharpie. Congratulations on your new life. Contents. One perfect husband you didn't deserve. Please discard responsibly. Now I live 2 states away. Smaller place, bigger piece. No curated Instagram meals, no passive-aggressive scented candles, no daily performance of everything's fine when it wasn't. Just me, a record player, and the dog. Yeah, I got the dog. Drew tried to reach out again. Said Ashley left him after 2 months. Apparently, she caught him flirting with a barista. The same story, just a different house, different mug. Guess karma really is a thing, he texted. I didn't reply. What I did do was send him a bottle of wine. One of the fancy ones she'd hidden for special occasions. The card attached read, here's to shared experiences. You ever hear a car you used to own pull into a driveway you no longer recognize? That's what it sounded like, familiar tires on pavement I'd already left behind. It was a Tuesday, late morning, just cool enough to pretend it was fall. I was outside my new house, ranch style, red shutters, nothing fancy, and sipping coffee while the dog watched birds with deep, philosophical focus. Then came the car. Her car. Black Acura. Still had the dent in the rear bumper from where she swore it wasn't her fault, but refused to get it fixed. I didn't move. Just stood there on the porch like it was a museum exhibit labeled man who chose peace over pretty lies. She stepped out slowly, like she wasn't sure if she was visiting or trespassing. Probably both. Her hair was pulled back. No makeup. Just sweatpants and desperation. Hey, she said. Wrong house, I replied, sipping my coffee. Can we talk? You already did plenty of that with Drew. And my Ring camera. She winced. Points for not pretending. I didn't know where else to go. I took a deep breath through my nose, let the steam from the coffee warm the sting out of my next words. Let me guess, he got boring faster than I did? She didn't answer. And that was answer enough. Funny thing about people who trade loyalty for novelty, they always expect the return policy to be generous. She started in on the apologies, real ones, fake ones, panic-laced ones. Talked about how lost she felt, how things got messy, how Drew wasn't what she thought. I waited until she ran out of words or air, whichever came first. Then I said, "You remember the night you told me you were going to yoga and came back smelling like bourbon and cologne that didn't belong to me?" She blinked. "Or how about the time you said, 'He's just a friend,' and then I found the just a friend in our hot tub, shirtless, wearing your towel?" "I'm sorry," she whispered. "No, you're not. You're just out of options." That landed. She looked down at her shoes, white sneakers, pristine. Not a scratch on them. Just like her conscience used to be. "Can I just come inside?" For a minute, I laughed. Actually laughed. "You mean into the house you didn't help buy, furnish, or destroy?" "I'm good. I made mistakes. You made plans. There's a difference. Now, look, I'm not a cold man. I don't kick puppies or root for traffic jams. But I'd done my time in the emotional trenches. I'd cried into empty wine glasses. I'd stared at ceiling fans at 3 a.m. wondering how the hell someone could lie so smoothly with a mouth that used to kiss me. So no, I wasn't going to let her walk back in like this was some soap opera and she was the misunderstood villain ready for her redemption arc. I was the writer now. And this script didn't call for a reunion. She stayed in the driveway another 10 minutes. I didn't watch the whole thing. Just long enough to see her look around like she expected the house to change its mind. It didn't. She got back in the car. No dramatic tears, no slamming doors. Just that eerie kind of quiet you get when someone finally realizes they burned the bridge and the map. 3 weeks passed. Then came the letter. Typed. Single-spaced. 3 pages. Smelled faintly of the perfume she used to wear to important meetings. It started with the usual cliches. "I miss the way we used to be. I didn't appreciate you when I should have. I got caught up in things I didn't understand." And then, halfway through, a confession. "I thought being wanted by someone new would fix the things I didn't want to admit were broken in myself." Well, there it was. Truth, late to the party, but still showing up in heels. She ended with a request. Said she was staying with her sister, but it was complicated. She wanted to meet for coffee. Just talk. No pressure. Just closure. Closure. The most ironic word in the English language. Almost always requested by the one who blew the door off its hinges. So I wrote her back. One line. "Closure is what I felt when I took the dog and left your favorite mug in the trash." It wasn't cruel. It was clarity. Cruel would have been pretending I still had anything left for her in me but empty echoes. She didn't reply. Didn't need to. Some goodbyes don't come with sound. They just settle in your bones like peace. Drew messaged me again. Said he'd heard about the house sale. Said Ashley told him she regretted everything. I left him on read. Then I texted him a link to a listing. A 1-bedroom apartment near the highway with 0 closet space and terrible lighting. Captioned it. "Might suit you better. Harder to cheat in a studio." People always talk about revenge like it's some elaborate plan. Like you need candles and costumes and secret recordings. You don't. Revenge is packing your dignity in a duffel bag, walking out before they know they lost you, and building a new life so quiet it screams. It's watching them realize too late that you weren't weak. You were patient. And now? Now I sleep like a man who doesn't have to guess if he's being lied to. And the best part? The dog still growls whenever a black Acura drives by. The first time I saw her cry, really cry, was at our wedding. Mascara lines down her cheeks, smile wide enough to split the sky, hands trembling as she slid that ring on my finger like it meant something. The second time? Well, that was at the grocery store parking lot, right in front of the cart return. Let me back up. I just finished grabbing some essentials, eggs, coffee, peace of mind. I was halfway across the lot when I saw her car. Not the Acura she'd sold that after the Drew debacle. No, this was a beaten-up Corolla, 2-tone paint, hubcap missing. The kind of car you drive when your pride takes the bus. She was sitting in the front seat, engine off, sunglasses on, hands gripping the wheel like it owed her something. She didn't see me. I walked past, slow, casual. I wasn't hiding. I just didn't owe her the courtesy of being noticed. But fate? That clingy little drama queen had other plans. I heard the door open behind me. "Logan." I closed my eyes, sighed like a man about to be asked to re-enter a burning building. "Logan, wait, please." I turned. She looked small. Not physically, but spiritually. That smugness she used to wear like lipstick? Gone. Replaced by something raw. Something I hadn't seen in years. Vulnerability she wasn't using as bait. "I know I'm the last person you want to see," she said, walking up. "But I've been trying to find the right moment." I raised an eyebrow. The cart return didn't scream closure to me. But sure, go ahead. She almost smiled. Almost. Then she broke. Right there, in front of a dozen strangers and two confused teenagers trying to wrangle soda cans back into a recycling bin, she started crying. Not the quiet, Instagrammable kind. The heaving kind. The shoulder-shaking, chest-caving, throat-locked kind. It was the sound of someone who finally realized the damage wasn't just a temporary rift, it was a demolition. I ruined everything, she whispered. I thought. I don't even know what I thought. That you'd come back to a life paused for you? I said, softly. She nodded. Honest. Painful. You always made things feel safe. I hated that. That caught me off guard. Hated? I asked. She wiped her eyes with the back of her sleeve. Not because it was bad. Because it was real. And I wasn't. Ah, there it was. That missing puzzle piece I never knew I needed. We sat on a nearby bench. Just two people who used to know each other better than anyone, and now barely shared the same emotional zip code. She told me Drew moved out 2 months after their romantic cabin weekend turned into a crash course in real life 101. He didn't do dishes, she said, voice cracking. He wasn't funny without an audience. He thought therapy was a scam. I nodded. So, opposite of me, basically. She smiled, and for once, it didn't feel like manipulation. Exactly. And that made it worse. Because the longer I spent with him, the more I realized what I'd thrown away. She reached into her purse, pulled out a folded piece of paper. I wrote something. I don't know if you'll read it. I probably won't, I said honestly. She nodded, expected that. Still handed it to me. I wish I could undo it. I looked at her. Not as my wife. Not as the woman who scorched my trust and salted the earth behind her. Just as a person. A broken one. You can't undo it, I said. You lived it. You chose it. Tears welled again, but she didn't argue. That's the hardest part, she whispered. Knowing I can't fix it. I stood. That's growth, I said. But it doesn't mean we go back. She nodded slowly. Is there anyone else? I tilted my head. What does it matter? I just wanted to know if someone else got the version of you I used to have. That version? He died. The day she texted, staying late, don't wait up, smiley face, and I heard her laugh through our bedroom wall on the neighbor's porch. I don't think you ever really had me, I said. Not the real me. Just the version that existed in your shadow. She looked like she wanted to argue, then stopped. You're right. That might have been the most shocking thing she'd ever said. We said goodbye. No hugs. No lingering looks. Just a head nod and the kind of silence that comes with acceptance. I tossed her letter into the passenger seat and drove home. Did I read it? Of course not. Okay. I peeked. One sentence stood out. I thought I was upgrading, but all I did was trade diamonds for glitter. Nice line. A little poetic. Still didn't mean I wanted her back. Because here's what no one tells you about healing. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's not one big speech and a final kiss in the rain. It's small things. Fresh groceries in a new fridge. A dog who sleeps soundly again. Waking up and not feeling obligated to prove your worth. Weeks passed. She didn't reach out again. But one afternoon, I got a postcard. A photo of some cliffside retreat. Ocean view. Minimalist handwriting. You were the best part of my life. I just didn't know how to live inside something that steady. No return address. Just a stamp, slightly crooked. I didn't keep it. I didn't burn it either. I just let it fall into the recycle bin like any other paper that once carried meaning. Because that's all it was now once. By the time autumn rolled in, she was still chasing closure like it owed her rent. I heard through a mutual acquaintance, Red, my former barber, who knows everyone's business, that she was back at her old job, now commuting in that beater Corolla and living in a short-term rental across from a discount tire shop. Nothing tragic, just unremarkable. That was the punishment. See, people think revenge is loud. Movies teach us it's a flaming explosion or a dramatic confrontation on a rooftop. But the truth? Revenge is quiet. It's letting them live with the version of themselves they tried to sell you. She crafted this fantasy life, thrilling, freeing, deserved. And when that imploded, she found out what was really left behind. No circle of friends, they were mine. No doting lover, he was disposable. And no story to tell where she came out the hero. She messaged me again in late October. I missed the way you saw me. I didn't reply. Because the way I used to see her? That guy doesn't live here anymore. I hadn't filed yet. Not because I had hope, God no, but because I wanted timing. Timing is everything in chess. In revenge. In life. So I waited until the week of our would-be anniversary. She expected the usual, awkward silence, maybe a nostalgic text, a crack in the armor. Instead, she got a courier. Envelope. Finalized divorce packet. No note. Just paperwork and a pin. She called. "I guess that's it," she said. "That's the paperwork." "Yeah," I replied. "That part happened a long time ago. You just didn't notice. You really won't even talk to me?" "I am talking. Just not giving you the ending you want." She exhaled. Said nothing. Hung up. I smiled. And I'm not proud of it, but I smiled hard. Rebuilding isn't some grand montage. There's no soundtrack, no fast-forwarding through the messy bits. It's just Tuesday, and then Thursday, and then suddenly it's been 6 months, and the coffee doesn't taste bitter anymore. I picked up woodworking, took a trip to Oregon, started writing again, just little essays, notes, nothing serious. But they felt good. I didn't date, not out of fear, out of clarity. I had finally learned to enjoy my own company. And that, my friend, is what scorched her more than anything I could have said. Because she assumed I'd fall apart, that I'd spiral, maybe beg. Instead, I flourished. Not in a new relationship glow, not in a rebound high. I just flourished, without her. And sometimes, that is the real revenge. One morning, the lawyer called. "Quick note," she said. "Your ex requested the ring back." I laughed. "The ring?" "Yep. Says it's sentimental." I paused. "Tell her I'll mail it." What I didn't mention, I already had. But not alone. I had it melted down, reshaped into a minimalist paperweight. Stamped with one word, almost. I boxed it. Sent it to her office. No note. No warning. Just a paperweight with the full gravity of what she gave up. A week later, she emailed. "You're cruel." I stared at the message. Deleted it. Cruel? No. I was just finished. These days, I keep that part of my life like an old scar. Faded, but there. Not ugly. Not angry. Just a reminder of where I've been and how far I walked without crawling. Because when someone betrays you, the worst thing you can do is survive so well they forget why they ever thought they were better than you. And I didn't just survive. I won. Quietly. Completely. And without saying another word.